Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be making homemade chicken stock in the Instant Pot. And if you've never tried making your own chicken stock, it's really quite simple. And I do think once you have it, there's probably no way you're going to go back to buying it in cans anymore unless you absolutely have to. No judgment. Let's get started. We're going to hit the saute button on our Instant Pot until it's at the normal setting. And then we're going to take 2 medium onions and cut them into quarters. Now, you can use the skins and the tops on the onions. That gives your broth additional color and flavor, so don't worry about peeling them. We're going to toss those in a medium bowl, and then we're going to move on to the garlic. Next, we're going to take the garlic, and we are going to smash it with a knife and cut it in a rough chop. We are going to add those garlic pieces, skin and all, into our medium bowl with the onions. And next we're going to take on the celery. Just take 2 stalks of celery and cut them into large pieces and toss them in the bowl with the garlic and the onions. And then we're going to do the same thing with carrots. Super simple. Just cut them into large pieces. Don't worry about taking off the tips or the tops. Throw the whole thing in the bowl, and there we've got our veggies. Next, we're going to spray the pot with cooking oil, and we're going to let that get nice and hot. And once it's nice and hot, we are going to add our chicken carcass. I like to use the chickens at Costco. They are delicious. They're actually better than anything I've tried at home. And I usually have plenty left over, so I like to use the leftover carcass with a little bit of meat on the bones to make my stock. And I'm going to put that into the pan skin side down. Give it, about 3 or 4 minutes until you start to see brown bits forming on the bottom of the pot. You'll see it looks like this. That's exactly what you want. We're going to take the edge of a thin, sturdy spatula and use it to scrape off the brown bits from the bottom of the pot. You want to get them off the bottom of the pot, 1, so they don't burn, but 2, because they really will add great flavor to our broth. So you're going to want to keep doing this for about 10 minutes or so. You want to get a nice accumulation of brown bits for bolder flavor. You can even use a little bit of water to help loosen the brown bits from the bottom. We call that deglazing. So you may need to do that once or twice while you are scraping. I also like to take the tip of my spatula and chop up the chicken carcass. This will help release additional flavor into the stock as we go. So we've been deglazing our pot for about 10 minutes. It's time to add the vegetables to the stock pot and mix those around really well and leave it on saute for a good 5 or 10 additional minutes to help release some of that flavor. As you're stirring that, remember to keep loosening any brown bits that are forming on the bottom of the pot. Okay, we've been sauteing and scraping for about 10 minutes, and now it's time to get ready to add the liquid to our stock. And I like to take the goo on the bottom of the plastic pan that the chicken comes in, and I like to use that in the stock because it is also some serious flavor magic. So take a little bit of water and swirl it around in that pan and pour it into the stock. And then take the rest of your 6 to 8 cups of water and add it directly to the vegetables and the chicken. You want to get it almost full, probably just below the fill line of your Instant Pot. Time to add the lemon juice. So we're going to take a large wedge of lemon, it's about a tablespoon's worth or so, and we're going to squeeze that into the broth and mix it around really well. That is going to give our stock nice bright flavor when it's finished. If you're using vinegar instead of lemon, go ahead and add that now. This is also a good time to season with salt and pepper. Try not to add too much salt because you'll be using the stock in dishes where additional salt will be added, but you do want to add some. So toss in a couple of bay leaves. Fasten your lid and set the vent to seal. And then set the pot to high pressure for 4 hours with the keep warm setting selected. You want that pot to stay nice and hot while you're away so that the broth doesn't spoil. I tend to leave my pot overnight on keep warm. The longer it sits, the better it tastes. So here is my pot the next morning. I've taken the liner out of the pot, and next I am going to strain the solids from the liquid, and that will help me extract as much broth as possible. And to help me do this, I am going to take the bottom of my cup and press down on the solids. And once most of the liquid has drained away from the solids, I am going to discard the solids into my compost bin. And I'm going to take the remaining broth and pour it into heat-safe containers. I like to use the takeout containers from the restaurant around the corner. They have tight-fitting lids and they're great in the fridge or the freezer. You can use these right away. You can store them in your fridge for up to a week or so, and they'll keep in the freezer pretty much indefinitely. You'll want to use this in any recipe that calls for chicken stock. It's way more flavorful than the cans, it's better for you, and it really makes your dishes pop. I'm going to be using this in my upcoming video for butter chicken curry, and I do hope you'll stay tuned for that. So thanks again for watching. I hope you'll give this a try, and if you do, let me know how it turned out in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks y'all, and happy cooking.